Good evening. Today it's April 26, 2022. This is our second council meeting for the month of April. It's 7:02. Sorry, it's 7:02. The meeting is called to order, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin.
Present.
Councilman Galvin. Mayor Biename.
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy.
Here.
Vice Mayor Desilme. Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. Please let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's going to be Assistant Chief Rivera and the invocation by Pastor Amos Jean from Philadelphia Baptist Church.
Good evening. Let's place our hands over our hearts. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Let us pray. Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings on the people who have been called to lead the community. Help them as leaders to not ask first, how do we fix this? But what do we need to learn? How might we need to change? And to whom do we need to listen? Remind them, because we all forget from time to time, especially in the nosiness of what passes for political debate today, that they are not only leaders, but also servants, and that it is their responsibility and ours to serve the common good of all. Thank you for life itself. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particularly for this Assembly Council. I am asking that you will graciously grant them. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Thank you very much, Assistant Chief Angel Rivera and Pastor Amos Jean from Philadelphia Baptist Church. Order of business, Madam City Manager, do we have any additions, deletions, amendment, or deferral to the agenda?
We have a requested deferral.
My mic, please.
We have a requested deferral for
No,
tab
not yours.
D.
I'm talking about my mic. Can you hear me?
Tab D.
Okay. A, B, C. You are removing it? You are removing it?
It's moving off of, taking this off of the agenda. Tab D.
Okay, tab D has been removed. And now, Mr. City Attorney, is the agenda set?
Yes, Mayor, the agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. Without tab D. And now we have some special presentation. Let's start with COVID-19. Commander Brinson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Commander Angelo Brinson, Emergency Manager. For the COVID-19 update, the 7-day positivity rate for COVID-19 in Miami-Dade County has increased to 11%. Last week, there were recorded 5,400 new cases. This is a slight increase from the previous week. However, the COVID-19 death-related rate across Miami-Dade County is less than 1 at 0.57%. So Even though a slight increase in cases, we're still moving in the right direction as far as the pandemic is concerned. The City of North Miami continues to offer COVID-19 testing in partnership with NOMI Health. COVID-19 testing is available at the Gwen Margolis Center located at 1590 Northeast 123rd Street. Testing is available at Gwen Margolis Center Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is the COVID-19 report for today. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Any question here? No questions. Thank you very much, Commander Branson. Thank you very much. It's Senator is not here yet. Okay, he's not here yet. And let's go downstairs for another presentation, then we will come upstairs waiting for Senator Chauvin Jones. Okay. Thank you very much. The first presentation is to declare April 29, 2022 as Harbor Day in the city of North Miami. And the proclamation is read as, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Harbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Harbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of previous topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife and many more. It's extremely important that we add trees in the city of North Miami. And I think for the past 9 years, every year, we put money in the budget for tree planting. And on top of that, we apply for many grants so we can plant more trees in the city. And for the past few years, I know the city of North Miami and has been named the city of trees. That's why for April 29, 2022, we declare it Harbor Day in the city of North Miami. And I call on Councilwoman Cassandra Timothée to receive the proclamation because last week, and she took the initiative of having a green initiative program, and I understand it was in District 1, but it was in the city of North Miami. Thank you, Councilman Galvin. You want to say a few words?
I guess I'll take a moment of privilege to thank our sustainability coordinator, Christina, and Chanel Cooper, my constituent service coordinator, for planning our Earth Day Fair. Yes, we were in District 1 and we were cleaning up our parks, and we were also in District 2 cleaning up our canal along North Bayshore Drive in our Biscayne Bay. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. We look forward to a greater event next year, and we gave out over maybe like 300 trees that day. So in celebration of Arbor Day, thank you, and let's continue to keep North Miami beautiful and green.
Thank you. The next presentation for tonight, it's now is District 35, Senator Chevron Jones. And I do understand based on the redistricting, you will be our senator now, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mayor, for the record, as of 7:10, Councilman Galvin is present.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, Senator Chevron Jones.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and to the entire commission, Vice Mayor DeSome, Councilman Galvin, Councilwoman Cassandra, and Councilwoman Mary. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate the work that you are doing, and to the entire city of North Miami. It does give me great pleasure to have this opportunity to introduce myself for the first time now that I have been redistricted in this area, moving from Senate District 35, now here in Senate District 34, which now encompasses Miami Gardens, Opelika, North Miami Beach, Liberty City, Bell Harbor, North Bay Village, and Miami Beach. I got it down pat, y'all. I've learned extremely early. And so I'm definitely happy to be here with you all. And to Councilwoman Esteem Irvin, thank you so much for the invitation to allow me to come and to give a legislative update of what happened in Tallahassee this past legislative session. And what I am going to do, I will condense my comments, Mr. Mayor, to be able to open it up for questions that might arise. And even get any suggestions that to hear more about the needs of the city of North Miami. And I think as we look at what has happened in Tallahassee, in the state of Florida over the past couple of weeks, I think we are clear on where Florida lies right now. It's become extremely polarized in Tallahassee over the past couple of weeks. One thing that I do want to bring up is that where Tallahassee's focus is at, because I think everyone in this room, we can agree that there are some issues that are top level issues that in Tallahassee that we should be dealing with, like property insurance, like the affordable housing crisis that we're dealing with, like getting people back on track after COVID. Because I have shared with my colleagues, and I will continue to share with them, is that as someone who represents the largest black district in the state of Florida and the third largest in the country, our needs hit just a tad bit different than a lot of the state. And so the things that we advocate for and we have advocated for were for things that I know that our district, it needs, like the infrastructure, like economic development within our communities, ensuring that our community have access that's needed that other communities are getting. With this election year, we know that a lot of the red meat legislation that went forth, whether it was the Stop the Woke Act or whether it was the parental rights in education bill that went forth, or even us talking about the abortion, 15-week abortion ban, which is Senate Bill 146 that we dealt with in Tallahassee this year. All of these were distractions that we dealt with in this past legislative session. I am a firm believer that we have to teach children the right history. History happened. Not only did it happen, no one in this room is responsible for that, but what we are responsible for is telling our children the truth. And I think that is one of the first bills that the governor signed this week. And then you have the parental rights in education. Yeah, I think I want everyone to understand that currently now parents already have rights based off of the U.S. Constitution and in the Florida Constitution, that parents already have rights. But my colleagues have used this as an opportunity to say that this is what we want to reaffirm parental rights when those rights already are with parents. And so this was just another distraction that has occurred in Tallahassee, and me being in the legislature for the past 11 years in the House, 8 years in the House, now in the last 2 years in the Senate, this has probably been the most divisive legislative session that we have come out of. Today, the governor just signed an elections administration bill, This bill that the governor signed, I know you all remember Senate Bill 90 from last year, which restricted how we do vote by mail, which restricted voting booths, and it also restricted how we campaign or how candidates campaign at election sites. But the update of that is that a judge has ruled that currently now Senate Bill 90, portions of Senate Bill 90 cannot be enacted. I will have my staff send you send to the city manager and to the council what is not included. What did the judge actually say when it comes to the voting laws? Because I think it would be beneficial to all of you. In this new law that was just passed, what the governor made was a force, which I think he's calling it an election force, it's a special police force for elections that will monitor elections across the state of Florida. But I would have you to know that currently now, even without that law, FDLE and local police departments already were engaged with cities, engaged with the supervisor of elections when it came to our current election laws, if any mishaps would have happened. So I wanted to start off with some of the things that we know are coming down the pipeline that could affect you as a commission and to the residents who might want to know more about what's happening when it comes to election. We did secure $36.9 million for funding here within the district. Whether it was included was $75,000 for educational initiative scholarship, to Florida Memorial receiving $250,000 for the Cyber Innovation Hub. I am so excited by being able to represent North Miami and the new cities, because the one thing that I am big on and that we have done in Broward County and in Miami Gardens and Opelika area is ensuring that residents and the commission have the opportunity to be a part of the legislative process. That includes whether it's projects that the commission might have that we can push in Tallahassee, or whether it's projects that residents have who have nonprofit organizations who desire to get state funding. We want to educate people on how to do that. The $75,000 that we did bring back home for the Miami Gardens Higher Education Initiative Scholarship was actually from Councilman Robert Stevens. That the Senate said, you know what, $25,000 is not enough. So they gave $75,000 to do that. So we do this thing called We the People University, where we invite elected officials, when we invite the community out to be able to participate, to figure out how can they get state funding, how can they do business with the state, because there's a lot of money that flows through the state. $112 billion worth of a budget. The people should have access to what that looks like and how they can participate in that. I'll begin to condense my comments to talk about just 3 big pieces of legislation that we passed this legislative session, and then I'll end on redistricting. We did pass Ava's law. I don't know if you all were following what happened to Tanya Jackson, and where she delivered her baby in the prison system alone, and the baby and her died, and she died. But we also know last year this also happened in Broward County within the facility. So we did file dignity for incarcerated pregnant women. For those who don't know, women are the fastest growing population in our jails. And knowing that there are not a lot of things in place within our jail and prison systems to ensure that women are being protected. So we filed dignity for incarcerated women, to ensure women who are incarcerated have access to free feminine hygiene products, and also dignity for incarcerated pregnant women, to ensure women who are pregnant cannot be placed in solitary confinement, and also that no woman can be searched by a male. And you would have thought that was something that was already in law, but it was not. And the last bill that I want to harp on is children with developmental delays. Currently now, based on the current law, the state of Florida is not on par with the federal law when it comes to children who have developmental delays. Currently now, services for children who are developmentally delayed end at age 5. The federal government, it ends at age 9 or 10. And so what we did is we filed a bill along with Representative Barterman to ensure that children can receive those services until age 9, so other services can kick in. And we knew that this was important because so many parents who are raising children who might be developmentally delayed are spending money out of their pocket because the state of Florida is not covering those fees because of what the current law is. The governor signed it 2 weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all works out with the with our school districts. And we're going to check in with Miami-Dade County after rulemaking takes place with the Department of Education, which will happen after this Education Commission. The last thing I'll end with is the update on the special session on redistricting. Last week, we just ended the special session on congressional districts, but I think all of you have been following what has happened with the congressional districts. The governor called a special session in an unprecedented approach. The governor has, he wanted to participate in the map drawing, and there was a dilution of districts. And let me just frame this for you so you all can understand. Since Reconstruction, we've only had 11 black congressional members. Now we only have 5. With the new redistricting, we will now only have 2 black access seats. That's a problem on the surface. And this is what's being fought in courts. The governor has currently been sued by quite a few groups, the NAACP, Equal Ground, and some other groups are suing the governor and the Senate and the House for how they have drawn the seats. But I think it is important for the residents to know that in the coming weeks that the supervisor of elections will be sending you new voter registration cards. Because in August 23rd, you will have to now vote in those new congressional, Senate, and House districts. You will have a new senator, which is myself. Pleasure to meet you. You will also have a new House member, possibly because some of the districts have split up. But you might have multiple House members. But I believe it's important that people understand what those districts will look like. We are going to travel the district, and we are going to do voting workshops for each community. So we're going to do one here in the city of North Miami. We will do one in North Miami Beach, Opelika, and everywhere, because it is important that elected officials, especially state elected officials, take the opportunity to educate the community on what those districts look like. And I will answer a question that has been asked multiple times. What happens if the congressional districts are overturned? By law, the state has already said that we have to go by the law that was signed until it is overturned. Who will overturn it? The courts will. If it's overturned, it will be drawn by the courts, and that will be the district you vote in the next go round. So I want you to understand that, and we'll talk more about that, and we'll find a date to do this workshop here within the city of North Miami, so we can educate the community on what's happening with voting and what you should know prior to going into voting on August 23rd. Again, I look forward to representing the city of North Miami in Tallahassee and working with every last one of you. But I'll open it up for questions, if any.
Thank you very much, Senator Jones, and I'm glad that you addressed a lot of issues. And there's something important that it seems like you're working on is property insurance. Because right now, if you have a single family home built before 70, in order for you to get an HO3 and insurance policy, it's going to cost you more than the mortgage for the year. What approach are you taking in order to lower that property and casualty insurance?
That's a very good question, Mayor. We're happy to know that we just received the email an hour ago. The governor has called for a special session May 23rd through May 27th to deal with the property insurance, to also deal with condo reform. Because we, as you all know, since what happened a year ago, over in Surfside, the legislature did not deal with the condo issues and the condo rules that currently exist. So there will be a special session May 23rd through the 27th to talk about the property insurance. If you would like, Mayor, what I can do after the special session on May 23rd to May 27th, I do not mind coming back to giving you all a brief on what that means and what happened at that special session and what new laws are in place when it comes to property insurance.
Thank you very much. And when you're going to do those workshops, if you can do it not only in person, but also swim.
I would love
For
to.
virtual, so some people want to stay home.
Yes,
but
sir.
Also.
If you have those capabilities, Mayor, I would love to, yes.
Thank you very much. Question on.
Thank you, Senator Jones. Great to see you
Good to
again.
see you too.
I was discussing with our administration about our redistricting outreach. So hopefully, our administration, we can work coinciding when you guys are doing those workshops to ensure that, hey, everyone knows who all their representatives are. Like you said, that we're gonna have some state reps, so if we can work in conjunction with your office, that'd be great, so that we can educate the entire community of, the changes that are happening in our city as well, and our new representatives. And secondly, for that workshop, there's a lot of services that the state offers and programs and initiatives and all that good stuff that the community may not have access to, like our Florida, or they're having issues with, DCF, or they're having issue with, Bright Futures, or whatever the case is. If we can have that information available as well, so that we can do that outreach, so that they know when to call your local official or when to call your state official. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And what I'll do is, I don't mind doing that, and maybe what we can do, we can, with our office, when we do this workshop, we can find a date to do it, and we'll make sure we bring you bring people out with food. I know people come eat, right? So we will have food, whether it's in the morning, on a Saturday, or whether it's after work. We want to make sure it's a time where we can get the most people out. So we will do that and make sure we incorporate all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Senator. I'm very pleased that you are now my senator, and welcome to the whole city of North Miami. I just want to say thank you to you and your staff. Obviously, you know that we had a group of students up there lobbying in the Don't Say Gay period, and then we had a rally for students a couple of days ago. And I just want to thank you and your staff for seeing the kids, talking to the kids, empowering the kids. It meant a lot to them. This was their first exposure to the legislative process. So I am deeply indebted to you and to Marina and the staff for showing your support for youth when they most need it. So thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. Councilman.
Oh, sure.
Elvin.
Thank you. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I know that, as you can see, we look forward to working with you. I, in particular, look forward to We the People University. I really like that idea. I just want to state one of the major concerns that I have, just so you have in your radar, and I think it's shared, I know it's shared here, is our housing crisis, and making sure that those dollars stay where they're supposed to, so that it can help us with the housing crisis that we have throughout the nation, but in particular South Florida and in the city of North Miami. So that's basically, I mean, I guess I'll continue my conversations with you. Again, thank you for coming here. We're excited to work with you. I've seen all of the work that you've been doing. Your media tours have been following as well. But, thank you for being a voice for the people in Florida, and especially now North Miami.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. And Councilwoman, just so you know, we are working currently now with Deputy Secretary Williams from HUD, because we want to get Madam Secretary to come here. We've already put the request in because we want to figure out what is the best solution that cities can begin to go after when it comes to affordable housing. And so I just think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And the elected officials will be present for this meeting, because I think it's important to figure out what services that the federal government can have that can be a pass-through right here within cities. So when that happens, we sent the request 2 weeks ago, so once we get that, we'll make sure we communicate it with you and the entire council.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know you was going to be here, so I was trying to miss the whole presentation. But again, thank you for representing us. I think my colleagues expressed. Do you represent the map that's proposed? Because I know I won't mention his name. We won't do that tonight. But the guy up there in Tallahassee, I know the map that's changing are the congressional map. Is the map for the Senate and the House, are those finalized?
Yeah, so everyone knows, and I apologize for not saying this when I got to that point. The House draw the House maps, the Senate draw the Senate maps. We do send each other's map over to each chamber, but they can't make any changes to them. The only map that the governor has veto power over is the congressional maps. So that was the map that was upheld. The Senate and House maps were approved by both chambers and approved by the governor, and it was approved by the courts about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so those are the maps that we're running off of now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just so folks will know, the governor eliminated 3 minority districts out of 4. I believe the four districts we had in the entire state, so 3 of them are gone now, and they are leaning towards Republican, so meaning that setting it up for the presidential election. But do you represent the entire North Miami, or is there, because I know we were split at one point, right, Councilman Galvin?
Yeah. So it was split. So I represent the entire city of North Miami. I represent half of the city of North Miami Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, lucky us. Yeah. We don't like them, so that's good. Let them know. Okay, well, thank you again and welcome, and we're looking forward to working with you. Thank you, sir.
to work with you too.
Your district gonna be called District 34, right?
That's right. So it's no longer 35. It's now District 34 now. Yeah.
And since we have an elected city clerk, and I know election and some issues are important to her, I don't know if you have any question, Madam Clerk?
Madam Clerk.
At this time, I do not. But
Thank you very much. If the administration have any question, if there is none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Senator
Thank you,
Jones.
man. Appreciate it.
Hope to see you again. Thank you. And now the other presentation is
awesome. So
Community Garden Project.
at this time,
Presented by the office of
First
the
I-
city clerk.
Mayor, is your mic working?
Huh?
Can you speak into the mic?
Whoa.
Because it's difficult to hear you.
Is your mic on?
It's on. Yeah, put the volume up. It's on.
For the record, as of 7:28, Vice Mayor Desolme is present. All right, so now it's the most exciting time in the agenda because my interns are going to present. So for a lot of you who've been by the city clerk's office, every few days you'll see that there are maybe 10 kids in my office at the same time, and those are actually my interns. And so we have 3 of them here. I'm not going to talk too much because they'll be making their own presentation. However, I do really encourage you all to please engage, pay attention, because they worked very hard on this. This is a project that they came up with all on their own. We, of course, gave them some guidance. I have to also thank Christine Carney from Parks and Rec, who made it possible for them to do the research that they needed for their presentation. So if my interns could come up, and you may start. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Essence.
My name is Diego.
And my name is Antonia.
We're interns at the City Clerk's office. Today we'll be proposing a community garden in the city of North Miami. This garden is meant to encourage positive interaction and recreational activities within the community. A community garden can take on many diverse forms. It can provide food for food pantries, youth gardening programs, and in our case, provide food for low-income and underserved people in North Miami. We are proposing that Nomi Garden provides citizens with a safe and welcoming place to access organic foods. This garden will be our way of giving back to the community, not just with food, but also serving as a forum for people of all socioeconomic status and backgrounds to come together and help maintain in the gardens of Keep.
One of the main reasons we are proposing a community garden is because there has been a stagnant increase in food deserts within low-income communities in North Miami.
Food deserts are an issue since there are a large number of families with low income in North Miami. meaning that they may not be able to afford fresh and organic fruits and vegetables. There are more than 300 food deserts in South Florida.
Our solution to this problem is to create a community garden that provides everyone in North Miami with access to organic and fresh foods.
In the beginning, we don't want our garden to be huge, but as we progress, we would hope we can work on expanding and serving more locations. Not only will this garden be an incredibly beneficial in providing a more healthy source of food, but it can also serve as a blueprint for more people throughout our community to want to create gardens of their own, especially in their own homes. Some of the many benefits of this community garden will be that it is entirely free. Will hopefully be long-term and can be a factor in improving the environment and also the ecosystem. Some of the necessary materials needed to make this garden possible will include gardening tools, including garden gloves, shovels, fertilizer, soil, flowers, paint, mulch, and the most important one, food, which will include spinach, peppers, tomatoes, cilantro, and radish. At the Griffin Park location, besides the previous materials mentioned, the materials will include water storage, sprinkler, pipes, hose, garden beds, which will include wood and materials for building.
Costs for the Enchanted Forest Park include one-time purchases like gardening tools, which will come to about a total of $200, decorative funds that include paint per garden bed, mulch per square feet, and flowers. And some ongoing purchases can include seeds for 4 various plants per year, which will come to about $400, soil and fertilizer that will come to $1,000, which will come to a total amount of $2,050 for the garden at Enchanted Forest Park.
To achieve the garden at Griffin Park, our budget would be $5,145. Within this budget, we'll be purchasing an irrigation system, a one-time purchase of gardening tools and garden beds. We'll have 5 garden beds to start off with in the garden, and also the decorative fund, which include paint per garden bed, mulch per square feet, and flowers to decorate the garden. And we'll also have an ongoing purchase of seeds and mulch.
Once the garden bed has been decided and we have the required amount of money, the materials for the garden will be bought. After materials are gathered, we will need to find a location with enough space, soil, and water. When all these preparations are met, we can finally start planting the necessary vegetables in the garden and care for the garden for the days to come. Some vendors that come with the Enchanted Forest Park include a developed irrigation system, attraction sites, a foundation that has been made, meaning that there is already a garden ready to be improved. A garden mentor can show the community how to plant and care for these plants effectively. Also, other benefits include a lower budget, enclosed space, water source that is available, and it is located in a natural environment. Benefits I include with the Griffin Park are large open green space, open to the community, have flower beds, more personalization options, a more part of the NOMI community, and it is easily accessible. We've decided to choose the Enchanted Forest Park after careful consideration and a visit to the park. We've decided that to make the site for the garden. The Enchanted Forest Park already has an effective irrigation system and garden beds for the plants, and is also easier on the budget and more beneficial for the community. In order for the garden to work, it must be cared for consistently by the community before the plants diminish. It must be sustained effectively to access all of its benefits to the community. There's a fairly recent outbreak of iguanas in South Florida, and they're commonly found in these gardens. These iguanas can cause serious damage to the plants since they are considered an invasive species, meaning that they have no natural predators, to keep them in check. The Enchanted Forest Park has already attempted to fix this issue by enclosing the garden with gates to help them not enter them easily. Other issues may include long-term viability due to loss of land to park development and finding resources in urban environment.
With the creation of any community garden, there will be issues that we will either have to work with, make changes for, or face. For our Enchanted Forest location, these issues include less open to the community, iguanas are rampant, it also needs more beautification and landscaping. For our Griffin Park location, some of the issues include that it will require a higher budget, requires an irrigation system, the building of more garden beds, time constraints may hinder construction, theft, vandalism may also be possible, and of course, it will require more intensive maintenance.
Our main purpose in creating this garden is to provide the community with accessible, organic, fresh foods. But most importantly, we want this garden to provide this community with a sense of fellowship so that everyone can come together and help with this garden. So this concludes our presentation. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your time. See?
Thank you. Are you done?
It's like the most amazing presentation I've ever seen here. My God. Thank you all so much for indulging. I am not going to say that you all need to fund their project. However, I do want to. What do you mean with what money? Y'all got it.
Just a quick note, Madam Clerk. Can you say your name and address for the record again, please, each of you? Yeah.
Our home address?
Yeah, your name, your full name and address.
So my name is Essence Ares. I live in North Miami Beach, on 7450 Northeast 1st Ave.
Thank you.
So my name is Diego Flores. I live in 17691 Northeast 19th Avenue, North Miami Beach.
And my name is Antonia Etienne. I live in Golden Glades, and my address is 482 Northwest 165th Street.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
So again, I know y'all got the money. This office unfortunately does not. But I do encourage you, if you can, to fund their project because they really do want to create this community garden. They've actually done the work of finding volunteers. They're pretty much ready to go. They know where they're going to buy their materials. So if you want to fund it, I encourage you to, but really this was just an exercise, something that they can say that they did, because a lot of adults get to be adults and never actually get to a microphone and don't know what they're saying. So I'm just so proud that they did so well. I was not doing too much coaching, to be sincere. This is all their own work, and I just want to say I'm so proud of all three of you.
Thank you very much. Any question? Yes.
Yes. Real quick, Mr. Mayor, that was very good, Madam Clerk, but the only thing that I wanted just a caution of, just for the group, we have a community garden at Judson, but the problem that we have is the people just go and take it after the stuff is grown. The seniors have planted stuff, and by the time they get back, folks from around, so we had to kind of figure out a way, and I think Parks is working on fencing the area. At least once it's done, you can put it into, a pantry, or at least the folks who planted it or whatever. So, but they had big old banana trees, and people just come up and just take it in the middle of the night and just go the next day. So it's good, but that part we have to kind of figure out how we, at those two locations. And I know it's great at Enchanted Forest because it's a secured park. So if we're doing it at something that the councilwoman would do in her district, it would just a little fence. You know how you have the little fence around, that has to be part of the equation. If not, you'll wake up the next day, there won't be nothing there. the people around it would, it's good, but we also have to keep that in mind when we do these projects.
And I think in their presentation, they discussed that for safety reason, and that's why they pick Enchanted Forest, because they already have the fence and versus Griffin Community Center, unless Councilwoman Irvin have
No, because
money
this
in
is
the
less
budget
access
for the fence.
to the community.
Yeah. You wanna say something? Yeah. No?
There's also one at the library as well. I know the Friends of the Library has a community garden. They have beets, they have mint, and they also are looking for volunteers to assist. But if I can ask the administration, didn't we apply for a grant that would help us create more community gardens? Are we in the process of receiving that one, or where are we in that phase?
Or if not, we need to do that.
I would have to check back if we got the grant.
Okay, because I know we, okay.
Thank you. Councilman Galvin, no question?
No.
Thank
No
you.
question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Job well done. Thank you. In the budget, we, as far as, no, sorry. Another proclamation was proclamation and recognition of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I think this presentation gonna be done at the next council meeting, and okay, that's it's gonna be at the next council. And now, I think the next presentation is quarterly finance presentation by the finance director, Miguel Augustin.
Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. Just gonna wait for Claude to set me up. All right, so like I said, Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. I'll be presenting the quarterly finance cash report for the second quarter of the fiscal year. All right. It's going to be a first for me. I can't disguise it anymore. All right, so the balances presented here on the table present the balances for March 31st, 2022. And it compares them to the balances as of December 31st of 2021. So we have our accounts in Bank of America, the daily investment account. The balance at March 31st was $49,993,000 compared to $56,611,000 at December 31st. That's a decrease of $12,000. We'll get into the reasons why the balance has decreased. The other accounts are fairly stable. I mean, the utility account, that stays the same. That only changes at year end. Flexible spending account for AFLAC, that is a function of the activity, the claims activity within the account. So it's not really reflective of any operations or anything of that nature. It's a third-party administrated account anyway. Same for the replacement benefit plan account. That balance was $53,000 versus $37,000. Again, that's not an operating account. It's just a function of the activity, the claims activity as well. The lockbox account at Wells Fargo, at the end of March 31st, there was a $94,000 balance. As you can see, there was no balance at the end of December. I remember it explained at that time that account is a sweep account. So accounts, the balances are deposited in the account when people make payments, and then the funds are transferred over to the daily investment account on a daily basis. So the balance that's remaining at the end of the month is just simply a function of timing. So the John Eastern account is the account we use for workers' comp. That balance was 77,000 at the end of March, compared to 85,000 at the end of December. Again, that account is as well, it's affected by the claims activity. It's an account that is an impressed account, so as claims are processed, amounts are paid out, and we replenish the account with funding to accommodate future claims. The restricted account at Wells Fargo, it's the difference, the 1,223, is a function of interest income that was earned. That money is just monies that we took away from the daily investment account to serve as funding for some projects that the manager wanted to have. Just wanted to have that money segregated from the general operating account. The city national account, the landfill account, is the account that is shared with the county for the municipal landfill, or muni-sport landfill, I should say, so the landfill account is to renovate or to have the cleaning up of the landfill site. So that's what those funds are for. The difference is just the interest that was earned and any bank fees that were paid. Investments are with First Horizon, which was formerly Iberia Bank, 500,000. It's a standing certificate of deposit. We get the interest remitted to us every month. Same thing with the $1 million certificate of deposit. The Florida Prime, that $3,000 difference is just the interest. Interest rates are slowly creeping up, but they're still relatively low, so the returns are not as we've seen in the past, but we're still getting something at least. Same is true of the Truist SunTrust certificate of deposit, 800,000, difference of 211, and that's just interest that was earned as well. Okay, just really quickly, I'm not going to go into all the details, but in January, which is where we had a very big decrease in cash, that was a result of the payment of the TIF money to the CRA. So in years past, that was done usually in December. In this year, we did it in January, just a timing issue as well. There was also the county's deposit to the city for the county's portion of the TIF money. That was done in January as well. So that's why you have so much activity, $13 million in terms of cash inflows, and then $22 million in cash outflows for the month. So compared to the average, the past 3 years average, the volume of activity was a lot more, but it's primarily because of those reasons. February's activity was relatively flat. It was an overall net cash outflow of 91,000. So just about 7 million in, 7 million out. Fairly consistent with prior years. Not much change in terms of like the activity that we saw in February. March showed a little more activity. We had $2.2 million in additional cash inflow. Compared to the prior months, we were, prior years, I should say, the prior 3 years, it was about a $520,000 increase over the average, and the cash outflows were a little less than in prior 3 years. This slide here just provides some context. Just looking at the balances at March 31st for fiscal year 2022, our fiscal year compared to last year and the year before. If you want to look at the daily investment account, you can see that that balance is 49 million compared to 34 and 33 million, and that's primarily because we still have a lot of funds from the American Rescue Plan. That some of those funds are still there, and we also have the funds from the land sales that were realized last year as well. So that primarily explains the higher balances that we have at the end of this March compared to last March. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Can I have the budget presentation so we can have one question together, please?
All right.
Yes. Budget presentation.
Good evening, Vivian Cao, Budget Office. So for the revenues for the second quarter, the revenues are still coming in as planned. The largest revenue that we have, which is the property taxes, 83%, most of the taxes get collected at the very beginning of the year during the first quarter. Under non-revenues, we have, we're still under the average. That's what we're expecting the additional funds for the ARPA funds to be deposited in. For the general fund departments and the expenditures, the police department is coming in a little bit higher than the average compared to the other departments. They did incur this pension expenses during the first quarter, and there is still an entry that needs to be performed under the personnel department to move the health insurance expense out of the personnel and reallocate it back into the department. Hopefully that will be corrected by the next quarter. Again, under personal services, you see the payment of the pension plan of $7.2 million. That's why it's making the expenditures to be a little bit higher than the average. Under the funds for water and sewer, the revenues for water and sewer, we will be registering the revenue once we start receiving payments. And remember that for water and sewer bills, we bill them after we incur the expense. So we should bill right now for March 31st, so we won't be realizing those revenues until later on. So it's always behind a little bit. Under the special revenue funds, most grants are on a reimbursement basis. After we incur the expenses, then we get reimbursed from the entity that will be sending us the money. And our transportation funds, they seem that they're a little bit behind, but there is a delay within the county in sending us the revenues. And the debt service fund, the revenues received for these funds are coming from the other departments, and then this is the expenditure towards paying the loan down. And that's it, that was quick. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Questions from the dais on budget and finance. Miguel, can you take the other mic in case you have a question?
Yes, for budget.
Yes.
The finance, thank you, Mr. Mayor, but with finance, Ms. Vivian, if you could go back to page, well, it's the general fund report.
Under budget or the finance?
The budget, the budget, I'm sorry. I think it's page 2, 3.
Can someone from IT sit in here and at least we don't have to just.
Right, even with, well, let me ask the question while they come in. So right now, this is the second quarter, so meaning that we should be, so everything looks good around 50%. Is that correct? Okay. So it's something like the other taxes that's supposed to come in at 36%. Why is that so low at that on the revenue, I believe?
Those are the taxes that we get from either Miami-Dade County or the state, and they're run 2 months behind.
Got it, okay. And on the next page, so all of the departments look like they're on
target,
except for personnel. 218%. What does that mean?
There was an entry that was done when we had to pay the health insurance, and I don't really understand what is it exactly that happened, but that one is $1.2 million, and it's an error, and it needs to be moved out of there. It shows that the personal staff needs to go back person by person, week by week, to be able to reconcile and decide where those charges should be allocated. But that $1.2 million is going to be coming out. It's going to be taken out.
Okay. When they do that, have somebody already do the pre-work to see, is it going to be on target, or are they a little bit, okay?
Yes, the projection shows that the personnel department will be coming in on target.
Okay. The other concern, not concern, but I think you explained it, the non-departmental. I know, so this means that all of the money, the $3.1 million is in there. So we only spent $49,000 from there?
So under non-departmental,
yes, that would mean that, but non-departmental, depending on what are the costs, sometimes they get transferred over. So for instance, if we're doing legal and legal goes over, there's a part in there that goes to that. There's also some for some projects. So consistently, we do a lot of transfers out of non-departmental into other departments for different projects that were set for before.
Okay. Okay. So is it safe to say we have a lot of money in there? I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Is that money, Madam Manager, expected? Are you guys expected before the fiscal year in September to be gone, or?
Yeah, we expect to have used that. Yeah.
Okay. In this quarter or next quarter? Because I'm like, if it's 2%, exactly. So they're not allocated funds, correct? In there, are they allocated?
So under non-departmental, excuse me, I can give you a detail exactly, but if I'm not wrong, under the non-departmental, we have some of the events, some of the budget for the events that has happened. There's some money that we still need to transfer to parks to cover some of the expenditures for the NOMI. I believe we already had cleared it out. Citizens, the CIP, when it was created originally, was put in there. We just moved it. So it's not money that will be available. It's just some sort of entries that they need to happen.
It needs to be, okay, I get it. Consolidated somehow, we reconcile, okay. So that's why it's low. Okay, and then the other one, the building, that's because that's eliminated. In the last one, I guess it's a good thing if they are under that 50% benchmark and they are moving on target, which is fine. And that's the question that I have. And thank you so much, ma'am. Miguel, real quick for you with your report. In terms of the balance that we have, I saw it, okay. The lockbox item, is that Wells Fargo?
That's correct.
Does that mean that what happened last year and this year, the fund that was in there, the exact amount was in 2020, or no, is that 2020? Oh, well, what happened? I see, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
So the lockbox account is the account that we use for people to make payments by mail. So when people send their payments in, it goes into this account, it's processed by a third-party processor, and they deposit it into this account, and then the funds are swept, meaning that they're swept over into the general daily investment account, which is our operating account. So whatever balance you see at that point in time, which is presented, it's just the balance that was not yet swept.
Oh.
So it really is not like necessarily a reflection of operations, because ideally that balance should be zero if everything is done immediately, but there probably was not a sweep of the previous deposit into the daily investment account at that point, so.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Hermes.
Thank you. Well, who's next?
Thank you for the presentation. I know we didn't get to meet prior to, so bear with me, and if I do, we can kind of meet afterwards.
Some new one?
I'm sorry?
You said some new cars?
No, I said we didn't get to meet prior to.
Oh.
How much from how much in our budget currently are we saving from salary savings? Do we have that number? Because I know there were certain positions that were frozen, there are certain positions that are currently not filled. Do we know what that number is?
I don't have those numbers from the top of my head, but I'll be able to provide you something.
Okay, because I know as we're restoring services back, of course, those costs are going to come back, i.e. Parks is now opening more and so forth. So I would like to just kind of see as we're opening bit by bit. Also, do we know where ARP is listed in is that also non-departmental? Like, where do we list our ARP funding? Like, the money that we're getting from the American Rescue Plan?
There is a separate fund for it. We keep it in a special revenue fund.
But it's not listed in...
It is under... It is under the... It is allocated in here, it says under the non-revenues. It is located under the $16 million in the first page. And that is the portion that we haven't received. There is a portion of those $16 million that we haven't received that is ARP money.
So current today, is it safe to say that $4 million is what we utilize, and that was from?
We haven't, it's not allocated in here yet.
Oh, but we did allocate some in the
yes,
correct?
As part of the budget.
Let me make a little bit of a correction there. So we got 9.6 in. 5 million was allocated towards that previous year. So that would show 4.6. What the additional that sits in our account sits separately in the account because we only allocated as it was there to it. So the 4.6 for this year is actually going to come out of the payment that's supposed to come in May.
Yeah.
Because we have been making expenditures separately for some of the programming.
Okay.
That's it?
That's it for me right now.
Councilman Galvin?
No question.
Councilman Estime Irvin?
I don't have any question. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's move to appointments.
A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, appointing Andre Pierre to the nominating committee of the Citizens Investigative Board in accordance with Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 12, Section 2-261 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
Okay, do we have another appointment for the same board?
We have 3 appointments.
Yes, all of them for the same board.
Okay.
And we'll do it together.
A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, appointing Markinson Gentil to the nominating committee of the Citizens Investigative Board in accordance to Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 12, Section 2-261 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
The names.
The name? Okay. The next appointment is for Stephen Johnson for the Citizens Investigative Board.
That's when you have 2 appointments, right?
That's correct.
Thank you
Mayor.
very much. Can I hear a motion on
It's yours, that's all.
on
There's
the
two. There's one for Kennedy.
citizens?
Second, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know we were going to make some adjustments to my personnel board appointments. Did that information get conveyed to you, Mr. Cazot? Are you working on that? Or
Personnel or
Charter Review Board, I'm sorry.
It's Kenny Each, I believe that's on the agenda.
The next one.
Kenny Each is on.
Okay. My apologies. Thank you. Second the motion.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desormeaux to approve the appointments of Andre Pierre, Markinson Gentil, and Stephen Johnson to the Citizen Investigative Board. That motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
The charter
And I
board.
have two appointments for the Charter Board.
What are the names?
A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Kenneth Each to the Charter Board in accordance with Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 3, Section 2-82 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. A resolution of the Mayor and City
Give me the
Council.
names. Is the same with the-
Michelle Vega at large for the Charter Board.
Okay.
Michael?
Kenneth Kitch is from Councilman Galvin.
That's correct.
And the other one,
It's at large, Michelle Vega.
who make the? She
I
present who?
apologize, I didn't get a chance to look at this resolution. The intent was to make sure that Kenny Each was on as my appointment, and then make sure that Mr. Vega was an at-large
Oh,
appointment.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
That's what it
I
was.
had already, it's a long story, but I had already reappointed Mr. Each, and it was overlooked then when we
Okay.
appointed Mr. Vega. I don't want to throw anybody off a board who's willing to serve,
Okay.
so if the council's willing.
No, that's fine. Can I
Move
hear
for
motion on?
approval. I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin to approve the appointments of Kenneth Each and Michelle Vega to the Charter Board. That motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desume. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Quick question, would Mr. Vega become an alternate or?
Alternate.
An alternate?
Yes.
At large, I don't know if that's.
Oh,
At
at
large?
large. Okay.
Oh, okay, how many members, isn't it 5 or is it the charter? 7?
Seven for
Oh,
alternates.
oh,
Thank you very much. Consent agenda, tab A to C.
Move consent?
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent
Can you
agenda.
read it and?
Yes. Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through C constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through C be adopted.
Okay, now. you
I
can
have a
record
motion.
this vote.
Who seconded the motion again? I'm sorry.
I'll move it.
Oh.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin to approve the consent agenda. That motion was seconded by Mayor Bieneme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Tab F. Tab
Ma-
E.
Mayor.
Tab E.
Are you interested in doing the city announcements today or no?
Tab E.
No. Number 6, the city announcements.
We tab E.
We've skipped city.
We have tab
announcements.
E.
We don't need another 20. We're already an hour and a half into this night, and we haven't even gotten to the agenda.
Tab E, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement in substantially the attached form between the City of North Miami and Miami-Dade County to identify and control pollutant discharges from the shared storm sewer system within the city. Under the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, permit number FLS 000003, as required by the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection pursuant to Section 403.0885 Florida statute for a maximum financial commitment not to exceed $18,624 annually, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab E.
Tab E, it's $18,000 for what, Madam City Manager? Just a quick over.
So this is our contribution for keeping the stormwater, the shared stormwater clean and away from pollutants. We share it with Miami-Dade County, and so we pay $18,624 annually for 5 years.
A share cleanup. You want to add anything, Mr. Whistler, Pierre Lewis?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Whistler Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. It's pretty straightforward. This is an item that has been approved in 2012 and 2017. It's a renewal for the county to provide monitoring and sampling services to maintain our permit, which is to identify discharges going into our stormwater system. This is the same agreement that 31 other agencies signed. And again, it's $18,624 a year for the next 5 years. It's something that has always been budgeted in our stormwater utility account.
Thank you very much. Why did you bring it before us, Madam City Manager, since it's on it's 18,000, that's when you have a threshold.
Because it's 18,000 times 5, so that's more than the
that's the
consent,
total
so that's about
contract.
90,000.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab E. Public hearing is now closed.
So moved.
Second.
Tab
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desumay to approve the item at tab E. That motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Tab F.
Tab F, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, sunsetting the Quality Education Advisory Board and modifying the name and composition of the University Relations Board to be known as Education Relations Board, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
Thank you very much. Tab F is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab F. Public hearing is now closed.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Irvin to approve the item at tab F. That motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Quick question regarding that, that I think, just for the record, Mr. Cazot, we did mention that we would say schools within the feeder pattern, right, just to cover all of the schools.
If you want to add that language tonight, then we will make that change before the.
Oh, okay. I thought we did, but please do.
No, it's there.
It's there. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tab G.
Please be advised that the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to speak in favor of, object to, or comment on an item, please complete a public speaker's card indicating the agenda item number on which you would like to comment. You must be sworn in before addressing the City Council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the City Council will not consider your comments in its final deliberation. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with any members of the City Council. City Council members are required to do the same. If you are giving testimony today on the item at tab G, please rise and raise your right hand as I issue the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Chair and Council. The item before you is a site plan approval. I defer to you, Madam Clerk, to read it into the...
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Oh, sorry.
Tab G, a proposed quasi-judicial resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the site plan for a one-story, 3,284 square foot addition to La Colonia Wellness Center and a reconfigured parking lot with 35 parking spaces on the approximately 0.71 acre real properties located at 550 Northeast 125th Street, identified with Miami-Dade folio number 06-2230-030-040 and 531 Northeast 124th Street, identified with Miami-Dade folio number 06-2230-030-010, in accordance with Article 2, Division 7, Section 2-701, and Article 3, Division 2, Section 3-204 through Section 3-206 and Article 3, Division 3, Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab G.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor and Council, as stated, this is a site plan approval for a property known by La Colonia Wellness Center. The property is generally located at 550 Northeast 125th Street and 531 Northeast 124th Street. The item before you is to allow for the development of a one-story building, which is already existing. The applicant is seeking to expand this building by approximately 3,300 square feet. They're also going to reconfigure the parking lot, which includes an existing parking lot and a new parking lot, which is a vacant lot that they will improve to add parking to the lot in the area for a total of 35 parking spaces. Also, the property is approximately 0.71 acres, which is approximately 31,000 square feet. It's Zone C3 commercial. It is in the the NRO, which is the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay District, and the PCD, which is the Planned Corridor Development Overlay District. The property is land use is Central Business District. The project was reviewed and approved by the Development Review Committee on March the 23rd of this year, subject to the following conditions: that unity of the two lots be executed by the developer, that provide a 10 by 10 plaza or front area, a pedestrian amenity area of approximately, like I said, 10 by 10 with pervious pavers at the front of the building facing West Dixie Highway. That the project commence development by no later than 9/26 of 2023 and install all utilities underground.
Thank you. Are you set? Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Tab G is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab G. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
And I second it.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab G. The motion was seconded by Mayor Bieneme. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desome, how do you vote?
I'm sorry, no.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Thank you very much. And now citizen forum.
If you'll be speaking during Citizens Forum, please note that there are 2 podiums at which you can line up.
Randy Grice, 40 Northwest, 124th Street, North Miami, Florida. Thank you for the time. I'm extremely disappointed to learn about the development scheduled for the vacant green space at Pepper Park. In the past, I've been to many community conversations aimed at discussing the community's desire for that space. An assisted living facility was not on anyone's list. Green spaces are special in this city, and it's very troubling to see one being taken away from District 4. The Community Benefits Agreement workshop last week was a great success. The conversation was very timely and extremely appropriate. Thank you, Madam Clerk. How do citizens get a seat at the table when it comes to finding common ground with developers bringing new projects into the city? Maybe a community benefits ordinance. That solution was proposed during the workshop last week, and I'd like to see our city council explore that option to help citizens have more influence in holding developers accountable for creating mutual sustainability in our city. It impacts us all. Speeding continues to be an issue in the city. Reckless driving, people doing donuts on our city streets continues to be a major safety hazard, and I hope North Miami PD continues to monitor this issue as a top priority. And last, over the weekend, kudos to Councilwoman Timothy, the cleanup. I was at the North Bay Shore location. Everything went well. I met the assistant city manager. Nice to see you again. And I appreciate the effort. I had a good time. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council.
Thank you very much. But at this time, I don't think we have any project about Claude Pepper Park where we're going to put an assistant living facility. We don't have that. As of right now, I don't know nothing about it. Okay.
William Prevotel, 12,000 North Bay Shore Drive. Evening, everyone. I'd like to follow up a little bit on our earlier presentation on the redistricting, which I feel, I'm probably not alone, is just blatantly racist. A few weeks back, at the beginning of Women's Recognition Month, we discussed that the same group in Tallahassee has now made it illegal after 15 weeks for people who have been raped or incest to have abortions, and therefore they have this burden for the rest of their lives. We now have a situation, we discussed education earlier today, but we have a situation now where 40 math books have been taken out of the curriculum with little reason, and the few examples that were brought forward had really little rationale to them, that this continues. We have on top of that, this is Florida is the home of what is called Florida man and Florida woman. Uniquely situated in our country, recognizes an extreme level of ignorance and stupidity. And we seem to have had enough people to be able to put these people in power in Tallahassee. That is evidenced by recent actions for them to now take vengeance on the support that Disney has given to the Don't Say Gay bill and that legislation, which was certainly very harmful to many of its employees and its supporters over many years. And here it is, this had never been mentioned before, but having in reaction to their support of this bill and what the government has taken, they have now chosen upon themselves to take time away from sea-level crimes that we have, drugs, everything else, to fight against what is possibly the world's most joyous place on the planet, and one of the biggest industries, if not the biggest industry, in all of Florida. Please, North Miami, thank you for following your own course and not using them as guidance. And I'm sorry if I did go over.
Thank you very much. Citizen Forum is still open. Please, the next President you can have 2 people. Yes.
Hi, our mayor, honorable mayor, and all the commissioner and vice mayor, and really, I haven't been back here for a while, and really glad to see here the young people doing a project for the city of North Miami and all the new development, and it's really good. But also, I really want to share something that I learned about jobs very important in the city beside the council members. And last Sunday, I have a chance to really talk to one of the young women, and I know her since she's a little high school student, being really successful, graduate from a law degree, and then do all the work as a city managers, and learning about the important job that any city manager and then working in the city. And I really learning about how much work really working in that area to managing a city. And it opened up my mind. I just think about, you're a city manager, you're taking care of your city, that is something really like a job. But then as far as managing all those budgets and then all the citizens and in the city of North Miami, and I really have a new respect to the job that she has performing in the city. And beside that one, I know her, she had done something from Miami-Dade County before she coming back here. So I really thank you for the city managers, and Teresa had done a really great job for the city and then managing all the budget. So and from knowing her since a young woman and to what's be accomplished to have to really doing the work for the city of North Miami is a great job. So I really thank you for really help her being working the city. And that is my, how you say, to really want to say, because anybody do a good job, we should pat their shoulder to getting them a great job that you have done. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And my name is Winnie Tang, and I'm from Kendall, and I've been here, and I work with the city
In 2 weeks.
a lot. So thank you so much.
See you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Citizen forum. Citizen forum is now closed.
Mayor, now that you've closed it for those here, I'm just going to read the comments that I did receive.
Yes.
13925 Northeast 6th Avenue, number 308, Junie Joseph. Good afternoon, Mayor and Councils. My name is Junie Joseph, a proud resident of Nomi for 4 years. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Philippe for bringing City Manager Teresa Theralis to our city, a competent Black and Haitian woman, a Harvard Law graduate, to take us out of this deficit that we were on for so long. The job is still not over yet. That's why I'm asking my mayor and council to do what's right tonight by letting the city manager stay in her position. Councilman Alex, shame on you for trying to bring down a sister that you should cherish. She took the city out of the deficit that you created by your $18,000 travel expense, $3,000 CIB board, and the list goes on. As if this is not enough, you are trying to have a 7-member dais that will eat and consume our budget. Please go take care of your resident instead. Thank you, City Clerk, for reading for me. You're welcome. Carol Keys. I'm sorry I cannot attend this evening. I am writing concerning the last council meeting wherein there was a motion to terminate our city manager, Teresa Theralis. In the event this becomes a topic of discussion, I would like to state for the record my vote of confidence and support for retaining our current city manager, Teresa Theralis. I have worked with her while I was on city council and still maintain interaction with her regarding various city matters and business decisions. Mrs. Theralis came to the city in a huge budget deficit and was here during the COVID pandemic. From what I observe, our manager is carrying out the council members' objectives and initiatives, especially when it comes to the new development going on in our city, and is also maintaining our fiscal security as well as possible. Thank you. Former Councilwoman Carol Keys, Esquire. Julio Rodriguez, 2020 Northeast 135th Street, North Miami. It is unusual for me to take time after long hours shift to make public comment unless it is very important. You guys supposed to be public servant, and most of you are, especially you, Councilman Scott Galvin. I know you care about the city and our tax dollars. Mayor and the rest of the council members have showed great sense of responsibility by choosing a qualified woman, Teresa Theralis, as our city manager. She is a phenomenal human being, an excellent public servant that managed to reduce our deficit even under the pandemic. Now we need to grow as a city. I welcome the development that I am seeing right now. We need that. It is not time to change a winning team. We have to show stability. It is called good government. The manager is doing a great job. She overperformed. Mayor Bieneme, Councilman Scott, Councilman Cassandra Timothy, and Councilwoman Mary Estime, please don't follow Councilman Alex Desame in his illusional path. Give our city manager, Ms. Theralis, a vote of confidence instead. She makes all of us in North Miami look good, including you, our elected officials, by doing what's right and fair. Councilman Alex, you can still do the right thing too by giving her a vote of confidence too. Thank you. Roger Farmer, 1620 Northwest 131st Street, North Miami, Florida 33167. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and rest of council, 2 months ago, we had a concert in the city that was supposed to raise money for those who can't pay their utilities. And there were other measures that were going to help with that. As a resident, I have been wondering how much has been put in this so-called fund, or is it a slush fund? Evelyn Canella, we don't have an address. We did request that she provide an address, but we have not heard back. I am a resident of the city of North Miami. I sent an email to the mayor regarding the increased utility bill. However, I never heard back from him. I was contacting him because I received the notice for the hearing about the increase for the utility bill after the bill had already passed. I am a single mother and cannot afford to pay $380 for water. I called the water department to get a breakdown of my bill. They told me I only consume $150 of water and garbage. However, the city is posting $230 of surcharge fees.
That's it? Are you done? No.
That was the last one, Mayor. I did have comments for tab D, but because tab D was not read on.
Has been removed, yeah.
Was removed, exactly. We will be reading those when it comes back on the agenda.
Or if he comes back on the agenda, not one. Yeah, one or the other. One or if. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we close citizen forum, council report.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Cassandra Timothy.
No report.
Don't tell me you have a journal.
I have a report, Mr. Mayor. I always do.
Go ahead.
Good evening, North Miami. This is Councilwoman Esme Irvin. Always has a report for the most part in District 3. As we end the month of April, I want to applaud our North Miami Police Department for their efforts in bringing awareness to autism. As a part of the initiative, they held an autism awareness caravan last week. The caravan included police agencies from Broward and Miami-Dade County to show unity while bringing autism awareness to South Florida community. This was a partnership with the Dan Marino Foundation, Miami Dolphins, and the teachers and students of Florida Autism Charter Schools and Crystal Academy. As usual, our police department did an excellent job. Last week, the North Miami Commission for Women, established by Ordinance 146 on January 26, 2021, held their first meeting. As this initiative I supported, and I'm proud of this accomplishment along with my colleagues. I want to congratulate the chair, Dr. Marie-Etienne, and our vice chair, Dr. Naomi Blemure, on being elected. Thank you to all of the board members, Dr. Magda Demerit, Maurice Glitman, Emanuela Florimont, better known as Manu, for volunteering their time and services for our North Miami community. On May 8th, I would like to invite all of you to join me as I partner with Miami-Dade County Commissioner Jean Monestine for a gospel concert at the park in celebration of Haitian Heritage Month. This is a free event. It's going to take place at Cagney, and the event will start at 5 p.m. on May 8th, so I hope you'll be there. This is really sad, but I would like to offer my condolences to Chief Larry Juriga on the passing of his sister, Lori Carter. Chief, as you know, you're always there for us in our times of need, and I just want to extend our support to know that we'll be there for you in your time, and we're praying for you and your entire family. We love you, Chief, and again, our condolences. And that's all that I have to say for tonight.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Desmond, your report.
Mayor, I apologize, but may I read a comment that I realized I didn't read, but doesn't have a tab attached, so I should read it as part of Citizens Forum.
After the report.
Okay.
Okay? You want to read it before?
It's no matter to me. I just wanted to make sure I did it.
Okay, after the report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say thank you, but there's a couple of comments that was made in reference to the public comment, and I wanted to just share a little bit of us as leaders. You know, we are here, we do what we do, but we also have a responsibility, just like everybody who is here has a responsibility to do what needs to be done. I am fully understand and know the role of, the dais up here is politics. And what I learned over the past few years, over my 2 decades in public service and almost 10 years, in elected office is once something passed, you move on and you do what needs to be done, and you live another day. However, the disappointment that I have is a lot of public relation that's been going on Haitian radio or other folks doing things which I pretty much find is very unprofessional and very, very disappointing, because I, as an elected official, has the right to, to say and do what I feel that is not being done in terms of my residents in the city and the folks who have represented me. So I respect everybody's opinion. I respect everybody's, comments, whatever the case is. However, they also need to respect my, my decision or whatever that I intend to say. The manager and I, she's my employee, and the person who made the comment forgot if I was one of the person who hired her. So we are working in terms of whatever that needs to be done. That goes through. That's part of politics. If whoever made the last comment, but I'm not going to go into each of those comments that was made. But I think leaders make tough decisions, and you stand up for what you believe in. And I am one. I will stand up even if I'm the last or the only one. As long as I believe it, I pray that's the right thing I'm doing, I will do it. So with that being said, I don't have any other announcement, Mr. Mayor, but I do like to say anyone who would like to do a PR, I don't know if it's a competition. I have not done that. And trust me, I can. And I don't think we want to go down that route. Something was, a motion was made, and we made a lot of motion on this dais. It either fell or it passed, and we go on. We move on and we live another day. However, if it is where it's folks, going on the Haitian radio or doing whatever and attacking people's character, I'm not going to sit back and allow that to happen.
And question.
Yes,
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
You're talking about people on the dais that went on the radio?
No. I was just making. I wasn't here. It was.
But the radio. It's like
no. Well.
The
radio. I know we know the radio, but the radio just don't. And I'm glad you say that, Mr. Mayor. We do know the radio. They don't just come up and just say anything, So, and I'm not.
But sometimes we in some part responsible of that.
Absolutely.
Because there is things that we say here and
yes.
people go on the radio.
And the funny part is, Mr. Mayor, a lot of tough decisions that we made that impact the residents, they don't say a word. So that's how I know it's targeted. Because it was, in the phone calls. But I do want to say this, though. And although this is, what happened 2 weeks ago is 2 weeks ago, we're moving on to the next 2 weeks. I did get a lot of residents and people who call me to thank me and text. But that's their right, and I wasn't doing that for them, whatever the case is. Again, the managers here, I have to work with the manager, just like any other, personnel person that we have, and we move on. We do what needs to be done. But if they want to go, or whoever wants to go on a public thing, I'm ready. And trust me, I don't think nobody wants that. So again, I have a right, just like everybody have a right to do what they need to do, and I respect everybody's right. But if you want to sit down and have a very good conversation, something you care about North Miami, you want to talk to me about, I'm open to that, and everybody knows that. But if you're doing anything other than that and you have a personal agenda, don't bring your BS to me. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and my colleague, and everyone else in North Miami, and be peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor,
yes.
I'm sorry. I know I didn't have a report, but I did want to just to say happy birthday to Hector Medina. It was his birthday this month, and Naomi Lemire. Happy birthday, guys.
You didn't say condolence to the chief.
Who?
For the
Oh, yeah, no, I wanted to give it a date because it just happened. So,
I didn't know about it.
And then we also have other people in our administration who
Okay.
loved ones passed away.
I
So
didn't.
I sent my messages
Okay,
privately.
thank you very much. Me, as far as report, I don't have much. And a few days I asked the city manager, where is the CAFA report? And usually before they start working, they brief us. After they did, and you do the publication. But what I was so happy of is to find out that the cover is out. I didn't receive any emails or any phone calls about it. I remember 2 years ago it was breaking news. Biscuit Time, all those people will say breaking news, the cover is out, 14.3 million deficit. But now it's at 3.8 or 3.5 on a positive way. There is no breaking news from Biscuit time from nobody. And I understand that.
On that note, Mr. Mayor.
And the question, how come in 2 years from 14.3 million deficit in 2 years with, in the middle of a pandemic, less revenue, we end up getting a 3.5. Everybody gonna tell me, oh, we received the COVID money, we sell the land, and it been like that forever. But it just happened that in 2 years, we turned the deficit from 14.6 or 7 to a 3.8, 3.5, in the right direction, and there is no breaking news.
Well, I don't think you want the breaking news. The breaking news been busy in NMB, and let it stay over there. So that's
No.
They haven't said nothing about us.
It's our brothers and sisters. We love them, and the beautiful city of North Miami Beach. Leave them alone, and we want let's work together with them so we can move our community now. Madam City Clerk, your report.
So this is the comment that I received.
Yes, go ahead.
Joshua Baez, 920 Northwest 122nd Street. What a surprise who this item is being sponsored by. No other than Mr. I'm fiscally responsible, but proposed a citizens investigative board where we pay a director over $150,000 to micromanage our already wonderful police department. What is the purpose of this proposal? Let me guess. You realize that if you run for mayor, you'll only get 4 years. Or better yet, you might lose the race and you're going for the security of 2 4-year terms. LOL. We barely have money to pay the same counsel who makes over $75,000 in salary and packages. What would be the point of adding 2 more? Mr. Desilme, where do you propose we pay the 2 additional members? Let me guess. The same out of the blue way we're going to pay for Wildcat. Then at budget hearings, you'll ask the manager what's in the budget for District 4. LOL. I'm sure you and Galvin will support this item so you can waste people's taxpayers' money for another 8 years, but believe me, I'll be the front leader in making sure it doesn't pass on the ballot. Stop wasting our money.
Madam
There is
Clerk.
no comment? Okay. If you
Yes,
want.
What's the
Name
person's
and
name and
address.
address? You didn't read that?
Excuse me, Vice Mayor, I apologize.
No, I didn't. Did you read that? I didn't hear the name and address.
Joshua Baez, 920 Northwest 122nd Street.
Are you sure it's are you sure you're reading the address correctly?
Yeah, 920 Northwest 122 Street.
Interesting. That's a vacant house. So please pass by there tonight. So that's why it's a closed property. So that's why. So they need to stop.
Okay, thank you. And now your report, Madam City Clerk.
Yes. Once again, thank you to everyone for really engaging with the students. Thank you so much to Mayor and Council for asking them questions and really allowing them the full opportunity to understand what it's like to present at a city council meeting. What you did for these high school students will impact them not only today, but of course in the future as they are already one step ahead of many adults. So thank you so much. A big shout out to them. Their names are again Diego Flores, Essence Aris, and Antonia Etienne. They are only 3 of about 10 interns, I believe, that I have in the city clerk's office. And there was another, the rest of them did have other projects. So I have a couple who do office work. And then another group actually was fundraising. If you'll remember last year, a lot of you donated to provide baskets of feminine hygiene products for women who are unsheltered. Again, they pick these projects all on their own. I'm just here to be a support and a guide to them, but really they make it happen by themselves, and it's just a testament to the fact that our future is in pretty good hands with these young people. I want to thank everyone who came out to the Community Benefits Agreement workshop. I am so happy that it got the reception that it had. So many people have been asking for the recording, for the notes, and I will be compiling everything to share. We had an event that was very inclusive of the community. If you know anything about me, that's really where my focus always is. It's not doing events that are centered around me, but more so about what this community could be, right? What could we do when we reimagine what North Miami could be? What can we do when we actually take time to listen to what residents and other stakeholders see that their city could be? And so in doing that, we were able to really start a conversation around what a community benefits agreement actually is, but also all the different types of things that we could bring into the city alongside development, if only we take an opportunity to listen to what the residents are seeking. And so there will be a follow-up, and I'm going to be sharing that as soon as I can. No need to remind you, I'm short-staffed and low budget, but we gonna make it work.
All those people?
Excuse me?
You have more people than any,
I
all the
have
departments
2
put
full-time
together.
staff in my office. And I want to give a huge shout out to, of course, everybody who attended. Cornell Cruz, who's the executive director of the CRA Florida. Camilo Mejia, network director for Catalyst Miami. John Lorifis, our economic development and strategic initiatives director. Debbie Love, our city planner, who came, our staff came with amazing ideas. To folks who attended to support, Albert Bazil, our housing director. Yama Payer, our chief of staff. The Parks and Rec staff for setting everything up. Of course, the city clerk team. Gertie Genosier, Roberto Donoval, Summer Jones. CP&D staff, Marlene Monestein. Marlene was essential in really helping to put these pieces together when I felt like I didn't have time, or staff, or budget. Isaiah Valson, Beverly Hilton, Karen Frederick, and last but not least, Patricia Levasseur, who came to support. April is Stress Awareness Month, and one of the ways that I relieve stress is by traveling, so I encourage you all to stop by the city clerk's office to pick up a passport. As it's getting busy and busier and busier, and the times are getting much longer for the processing of these passports, so you want to get it now. Congratulations to the city manager, who on May 14th will be honored by the Haitian Lawyers Association, and we were talking about North Miami Beach, Commissioner Michael Joseph as well. A reminder that our primary election will take place on August 23rd, and the deadline to register to vote in that election is July 25th. November 8th is the general election. Deadline to register to vote for that is October 11th. Request your vote by mail ballots. If you need help with any of these, the Office of the City Clerk, with its short staff and low budget, is here to serve you.
What do you mean no budget? You spend all your money. You have a budget.
I actually haven't.
I just want to let everybody know I have the worst staff in my office that anybody could possibly have. Should fire them all.
You have nobody.
Thank you, Mayor.
City attorney.
No report, Mayor.
Nobody
City
wants to work
manager.
with
Just a few of the announcements that I have to make. The North Miami Police Department, for a memorial ceremony in honor of its fallen heroes, will be on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 at 9 a.m. at the North Miami Police Department. That is located at 700 Northeast 124th Street in North Miami, Florida. Additionally, to our North Miami residents, business owners, and community stakeholders, as part of the City of North Miami's proposed 2022-2023 annual action plan and the home ARP allocation that we received from HUD under the American Rescue Plan, the city will be conducting 2 public meetings. We'll need to get input from the stakeholders in order to get those funding. And those 2 meetings will take place on Wednesday, May 11th, 2022, from 6:30 to 7:45 p.m. at the North Miami City Hall Council Chambers, right in this room. And the second meeting will take place on Thursday, May 12th, 2022, from 6:30 to 7:45 p.m. at the Joe Celestin Center, which is located at 1525 Northwest 135th Street. Want to congratulate the clerk, who will also be honored at the HLA Gala on May 14th as well. Look forward to being there with you. And May 1st, just a reminder, begins the month-long commemoration of Haitian Heritage Month in the city of North Miami. We will have events and programs. They will be announced as they become available, and you can visit northmiamiflorida.gov/celebrate.
Madam Filippo?
I wanted to take the time to, and I think the mayor spoke on it, just to talk about what we have been doing at the city of North Miami in the past year. For one, yes, when I got here, the mission was to work on our deficit, and the deficit was 14.6 million, and I'm happy today to say that we are a positive 3.8 million, but I call that in the black because we have some more work to do for our long-term financial stability. But also, we've done a lot of programs for our residents, including being able to to feed our residents with the food distributions, to provide tenant and mortgage assistance during COVID, and to provide small business grants, including grants that had helped business transition from a regular business to technology-based, including helping them to buy equipment so that they can turn over to do that. And
on top of that, we didn't specify that it's 3.8. We still haven't received the $5 million from the school board.
Right, that does not include
authorization
the
to
school.
remove the money from the escrow account.
That's correct. So we have been really moving forward.
8.8 million.
So that is in what we call a restricted fund. So it will change our unrestricted balance once that money is returned by the school board, which we've been continuing to work on. But that's going to help to pay for some of the initiatives that we've done in additional, including some of the expenses. Wildcat, that will deal with our cash flow that we need to work on. But just to let you know, in terms of economic development, we are actively launching our P3 efforts for the downtown revitalization. We should have a project scope to you in the next couple of weeks. Planning and zoning has issued 2,600 certificates of use during 2021. That meant 373 new businesses and 2,000 renewals. And we generated revenues of 300,000. And we have had 10 new developments seeking approvals for leads, so we've continued to do this in an environmentally and sustainable way. And one of the major accomplishments is that we've put the building department on an automated permit application process, which allows residents and businesses to apply for permits. And what that means is once we've got that fully implemented and our residents are used to working through that, that's an increase in revenues because it saves time and it saves money for our residents to do business with us, and it makes it easier for them to do business. So what I can say is with the help of the staff that I've had over in the almost 2 years that I've been here, we have made major accomplishments in light speed time. I came here, we were in the middle of a pandemic, so most of this progress had to begin in the beginning of January 2021 as we dealt with the other effects. And on top of that, they had to endure what we've had to make tough decisions in cutting expenses. So you're talking about an administration and a staff that has done more with less and has done amazing things in an expeditious time.
And
So
you still haven't, and we still haven't closed on Gwen Margolis yet.
And we still
That
haven't closed on
money
Gwen
is not-
Margolis,
is
which
not
would be-
in yet.
Yes, which would be additional revenues for the city this year. So I want to thank the.
Even though we have to tie those money, whether it's CAGNY, the $5 million escrow, and that 3.5 or whatever it is, 2.2 from Gwen Margolis, tied it to the Johnson and Wells, the Wildcat Center, not Johnson and Wells.
Yeah. So I just want to thank the mayor and council for supporting me in doing these initiatives.
Question for you on Wildcat, Mr. Mayor, through you to staff. Have you heard anything? I had a sit down with Mr. Solis out at the Solomia property a couple of weeks ago. Has he reached out to you about that $2 million out there and reallocating it to Wildcat?
So we've had discussions, and it may include more things because we're going to have a full discussion. But yes, I have had discussions with him, and we are currently working with Solomia for laying out and finalizing a deal that would deal with getting some money for providing back that land space for the community center. So we're actively working on it.
Yeah, and then Mr. Richard Lifrak was there last week. We met and we discussed that. And he was so happy that we acquired the Wildcat, and is willing to work and making sure we taking care of that.
Oh,
they
you know,
Yeah.
Mr. Attorney, you have a question?
I was just going to mention, Mayor, you mentioned Gwen Margolis. The closing date for Gwen Margolis would be June 27th.
Okay.
Their inspection period ends May 12th, and the closing will be on June 27th.
Okay.
So that means we're out of it by June 22nd, or are they going to still give us till December? Does that mean we're out of Gwen Margolis by June 22nd?
No, that's just the closing. We've got an agreement that we will stay, I believe, till November.
Oh, until
We're
November.
allowed to use the property until they're ready to tear it down and build whatever they're building.
Okay.
Real quick, Mr. Mayor, I know it's almost 9 o'clock. The manager made the report, which was very, and I have some questions, but you know what, because I wasn't ready for an accomplishment report, but never mind, so disregard the thing, never mind. Okay, thank you.
No, we're not talking about accomplishment.
No, there was a question I had in reference to some of the items that was mentioned. And I'll accept when we have our meeting
Copy of that report?
in reference to those projects. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And
Mayor, can I ask a question
Yes.
to administration? I know we met with CP&D and we're meeting with the consultants that are updating our LGRs. Will they have a chance to meet with all of us together, or is it just all separately?
separately.
That was going to be separately.
Oh, they're all separately? Okay. Because I just had a question about the medical marijuana dispensaries, but I'll meet with.
Are you in favor?
Hey, I'm not going to say what I was doing on 420.
Oh, you know, okay. I hope so.
Thank.
And this thing, I don't even smoke it, but I
Thank you very much.
Just don't close the
Staff
doors.
can go home.
No, we have a couple minutes.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desomé to adjourn, seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Urban. All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. It is now 9:05. Good night.